Maximize your yields while spreading out your workload with the earliest maturing winter cereal. Visit kws.com/CA to see how our hybrid rye varieties can work for you. High yields, high quality, high value for your farm. KWS, seeding the future since 1856.
Hey, welcome back to Real Agriculture. My name is Chase Chambers, and today I'm here with Rigas Karamanos, and we'll be talking about nitrogen management. How's it going today?
Oh, excellent.
Cool. So, first of all, do you want to talk just on a general level about some of the information you presented today?
Yes, actually, I just presented the overall main principle of applying fertilizers, which is the 4R, the right source, the right time, the right place, and the right rate, and gave a specific emphasis on the place and also the source, because, these days we're faced with all the gaseous emissions, and we want to make sure that fertilizers are being placed in the right place, and also we use the right sources so that we can minimize the gaseous losses to the air, to the atmosphere. So, we talked today about a number of placements, like starting, for example, with deep banding. And I went back in history and explained to the people that deep banding was introduced back in the 60s, 70s, when anhydrous ammonia was brought to Western Canada, and people were getting extremely good yields. At that time, they were just broadcasting urea. And at that time, John Harapiak, who was with the Western Co-op Fertilizers, an amazing person, by the way, he said, well, wait a minute, let's put urea where we put anhydrous. And all of a sudden, just excellent results. So I emphasize that, as far as placement, that deep banding is the preferred method of applying nitrogen fertilizer. And when we say deep banding, we mean more than 2.5 inches depth. Now, if it's shallower, then you have shallow banding, and there are a number of issues associated with it. And I showed some results to the people about what happens when you have shallow banding. The losses, can be quite higher. Why? Because the same reactions take place no matter where you place your fertilizer, nitrogen, and the urea in particular. However, when you place them at depth, the gas that is created, the ammonia, because urea will be converted to ammonium, and that ammonia is going to be absorbed by the 2.5, 3 inches above where you placed it. Whereas with a shallow banding, there is not enough depth, and when you broadcast, of course, there is nothing to prevent. So that's where I came up, with the next point, and that is to use enhanced efficiency products that will minimize losses. And I show them how urea, for example, is converted to ammonium, and then ammonium nitrite and nitrate, and ammonium is subject to volatilization. Nitrate is subject to denitrification. And you have to use a urease inhibitor to prevent the volatilization losses. And also you want to use a nitrification inhibitor to prevent the denitrification losses. So we covered those components of nitrogen. I did not go into details about specific products, but I did tell them that to be very cognizant of the research that exists and the products that work, because not all products will give you the same result. So, and also I covered a little bit about top dressing, because what happens, people spray urea, UAN, urea ammonium nitrate, it's liquid urea. And I showed them the results from a master's thesis at the University of Manitoba, where they covered half of the treatments with plastic and they left the other ones bare. And when they covered with plastic, the recovery was very low, 10, 12%. When they bear, it was up to 45 to 70%, which means when you apply foliar, the majority of it either rolls down through the stems into the soil, or whatever is in the soil, it's taken up by the roots and comes up to the surface. So, we talked about, how to prevent those losses, and also a little bit about polymer-coated product. It's perfect for seed placement, and also it should be used in conjunction with urea in some cases.
Awesome. So what would maybe a final takeaway for farmers be from this presentation, if you had to summarize?
Well, if I were to summarize, it's to be the losses, and I show them some results. You have to have the weather conditions that will lead to the losses. For example, I mentioned to them there is that research at the Washington State University showing that on a dry soil they broadcasted urea and then they applied different rates of irrigation, and when they only put 1/8 of an inch of irrigation, they had 70% losses. When they had just about an inch, it was 5% loss. So, you have to put things into perspective. And I show them results where sometimes you don't get any benefit because you don't need it. So, it's very difficult to determine, whether you need something or not, because we don't know how the weather is going to be, But in essence, it's a good idea to have an overall sense of how these products work and when to use them. And if you don't need them, just don't spend the money on it, That's the moral of the story.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Yeah.